Good day, everyone. I am Ranami Irsal, and I am going to talk about the critical literacies and the arts. So let's understand what is critical literacy. So, critical literacy is the creation of artistic products by an individual and perception and rejection upon others' artworks. Showcase the power of critical literacies and work within arts context. So, Luke 2000 argues that it is the primary aim of critical literacies to allow students to see how texts work to construct their worlds, their cultures, and their identities in powerful, often overly ideological ways. Then, second is to understand how they use text as a social tools in ways that allow for a reconstruction of these same words. So, all texts produced by the culture both reflect the culture itself and the wider world in one way, and everything that the critical literacy says about language and literacy as social practices that inevitably carry ideology is as true of aesthetic texts as of any other kinds of texts. Well, according to Mason or and Morgan 2005. So beyond the conscious inclusion of aesthetic elements, an artist's work is imbued with particular values, attitude, and beliefs from his or her particular discourse. So, similarity, artworks viewed by the audience are understood through the perseveres lens of discourse. So, in this sense, both the practice and understanding of art forms and being critically literate are interconnected. So, the arts literacies and reality are dynamically linked, and the understanding attained by critically reading aesthetic texts involves perceiving the relationship between the art, its creator, and its context. So, according to Langshire and McLaren 1993, critical literacy makes possible more adequate reading of the world on the basis of which their interests, identities, and legitimate aspirations are more fully present more equally. So free body and looks for resources model a four tiered to sets of social practices necessary for critical literacy and reading instruction can be employed by students for understanding and composing artworks. So it was developed to acknowledge the reading and writing practices were not exclusive but needed to be authentically and purposefully contextualized to ensure meaning was made beyond the text itself. So, as such, this four resources model emphasizes an importance on critical literacy, which involves the theoretical and practice attitudes towards text and social work. So, a recent version which is this four, um, let's talk about this four. First, we have this coding practices, developing resources as a code breaker. So, it refers to the ability to break the code of written text. So by recognizing and using fundamentals or fundamental features, and architecture including alphabet, sounds and words, spelling, and structural conventions. And also the pattern. So furthermore, recognizing an art work's textual features depends greatly on understanding of form, technique, and the various artistic elements exclusive to the form. So, in addition, a strong understanding of symbolism, which is frequently grounded in social and cultural discourses, is key when trying to understand an artist's intent. So next, number two, we have the text, we have the text, meaning, practices, developing resources, and a text participants. So it is it allows students to draw upon knowledge of existing forms and practices which allow for understanding and composition of meaning of virtual and visual spoken text and multimodal art forms. So these points to students being literate within aesthetic discourses in order for the development of a new word to be realized. So we have the pragmatic practices, developing resources as a text user. So it uh, it speaks to how students make and consume artistic products within the wider world. So this occurs intrinsically when students are engaged in the arts education practice. So lastly, we have the critical practice that is developing resources as a text analyst and critic. So according to or Irwin 2011 argues that critical engagement arts processes can help us to see things from a different perspective and suggest connections between different phenomena. So, the arts can promote self-understanding and illuminate the advantages of viewing the world from multiple perspectives. So they can thus be conceptualized as critical quality pedagogy. So just as literacy is a social practice, the arts and aesthetic practice are shaped by discourse and rely on the interaction between maker and the consumer to bring the forth meaning and the critical understanding and perspective. So let's proceed to the next discussion.